our chant. This month we're doing our chant from the Lojong meditation, which is mind training for compassion. So let me get this off. Excuse me. So you have it in your rituals and practice. Together we say, by thinking of all sentient beings as more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel for accomplishing the highest aim, I will always hold them dear. Whenever I am in the company of others, I will regard myself as the lowest among all, and from the depths of my heart, cherish others as supreme. In my every action, I will watch my mind, and the moment destructive emotions arise, I will confront them strongly and avert them, since they will hurt both me and others. Whenever I see ill-natured beings or those overwhelmed by heavy misdeeds or suffering, I will cherish them as something rare, as though I'd found a priceless treasure. Whenever someone out of envy does me wrong by attacking or belittling me, I will take defeat upon myself and give the victory to others. Even when someone I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me very unjustly, I will view that person as a true spiritual teacher. In brief, directly or indirectly, I will offer help and happiness to all my mothers and secretly take upon myself all of their hurt and suffering. I will learn to keep all these practices untainted by thoughts of the 8 worldly concerns. May I recognize all things as like illusion and without attachment gain freedom from bondage. And we bow. Good morning, Shuji. This is Young Su. Oh,
Good morning.
I'll lead the meditation, or do you want to do it?
You can, please.
Okay. Now we'll do our incense offering. So the hands out is in your rituals and practice. And together we say, in gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as the earth itself, reflecting our full efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of our standing, slowly ripening. May we and all beings be compassions of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. We bow. Good morning, Sangha. Let's stand and greet each other silently, however you like to do that. Okay, if you would turn to your rituals and practice on page 7 is the refuge, the 3 refuges. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. Now if you would flip over your booklets to page 8, and we will do the Heart Sutra. Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, perceived the emptiness of all 5 skandhas, and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then, the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita, gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Dhamma prajna paramita hridaya sutra. Please be seated. And now we have the pleasure of Shuji, our guest speaker today from Manhattan, Kansas. She has been around this temple for a number of years. She is a Soto Zen priest, and I look forward to hearing what she has to say for us today.
Good morning. It is indeed my pleasure to be here with you. And I would like to thank you for inviting me here to speak on this wonderful day. And I'd like to thank you all for coming, both in person and via Zoom. We have a very full Zoom screen today, and that's nice to see. As you know, I am a Soto Zen Buddhist, and in our tradition, February 15th is a day we celebrate Buddha entering nirvana. We don't have an exact date. So there's a lot of different, I'm just going to say February 15th is a day we celebrate. Anywhere close is good. Today I'm going to talk about Buddha's last days. In my old temple in Nebraska, once a year we would take out this beautiful gold statue of Buddha laying on his right side. It's called the reclining Buddha. And it was in a beautiful wooden box with red felt lining. And we only brought it out for Buddha's Parinirvana Day. So when you see that reclining Buddha, it is his last words were given in that pose. Anyway, every day on this date, we would chant a fairly long sutra about his last days. I'm not going to chant the whole sutra because it's a 20-minute sutra, but I am going to use it as a basis for what I'm saying. One of the last talks he gave before he got seriously ill, he gave a talk on the 7 methods of preventing the teaching and Sangha from declining. This was one of his last talks, not his very last talk, not his talk when he was dying. But Buddha was thinking about what's going to happen after I'm gone. The 7 things to keep the Sangha from declining. 1, meet frequently in groups to study and discuss the Dharma. That is exactly what we are doing this morning. 2, always gather and disperse with a sense of cooperation. If somebody's sitting on your cushion, you don't say, hey, that's my favorite cushion, move over. Because we meet in peace. We come in peace and we come nicely. 3, always respect and follow the precepts. And that's basic. We should be doing that in our life. 4, respect and follow our elders. And that's not only in physical age, but in Dharma age too. When you walk into this temple, respect the people that's been studying for years. 5, live a pure and simple life, unswayed by greed and desire. 6, cherish the calm and peaceful life. 7, dwell in mindfulness in order to live in peace, joy, and liberation. We must become a refuge and support friends along the path. Then Buddha said, if you live by these 7 practices, the Dharma will flourish and the Sangha will not fall into decline. How do we carry on after the Buddha leaves? And how do we carry on after any of our teachers leave? And I think the scariest thing is, what do we do when we suddenly look around the temple and realize, oh, I'm one of these elders? The first time I realized I was the person at our old temple that people would walk in and say, what do I do next? It was like, a panic. And it's good to have that panic a little bit. But it's also good to really, what does that mean? And that's what I'm going to talk about today in a very long roundabout way. This is important. At this point, Buddha had been teaching for over 45 years, and the Buddha became very ill. And he was ready to leave this life. And Ananda started crying and saying, you can't cry, you can't die yet, please don't die. And Buddha turned to Ananda and said, what else do you expect of me? I love that line, because what do we expect of Buddha? He's dying. We say, don't die. Our teachers are leaving. We say, don't leave. You can't leave me. I'm not ready yet. We love our teachers and we don't want them to leave, and we expect a lot out of them. And that's what teacher-student relationship is. Parent-child relationship, the same thing. We expect a lot out of our parents. And we expect a lot of our teachers, whether they die, leave our practice, or move away. I have a falling out. I had a horrible falling out with my first teacher. It was hard. Nonan, respect him greatly as a teacher. I would not be here in this seat without him. And he physically died last July. It was hard. It's hard losing a teacher. But what the Buddha told Ananda was, you have to be a lamp upon yourself. You have to be able to look at yourself and go on without me. So, Buddha also said, Ananda, so many times I've reminded you that with birth there is death, which comes together must also separate. All dharmas are impermanent, and we should not be attached to them. One of our precepts is don't be attached to anything, not even the teaching. And that's a big lesson in non-attachment when the Buddha dies. But Ananda was not ready for the Buddha died. So the Buddha said, okay, I'll stay with you 3 more months. And we'll all get together one last time and I will give one final teaching. So at the end of this 3-month time, the Buddha and the monks went to a feast at a Sangha member's house. Kunda, Kunda. He was a blacksmith's son and was very happy to have the Buddha come over for dinner and all of his disciples. And he made a very special dish. Sometimes the dish contains meat, sometimes it contains mushrooms. The Buddha took a couple bites and realized it was bad. And he called Kunda over and said, you know, only the truly enlightened people could eat this food. You need to go bury it. Because, you know, the Buddha's nice. He's not going to sit there at the table and say, oh yeah, this is awful. Nobody eat this food. It's horrible. But after that dinner, the Buddha got very ill. And he said, the 2 most important meals you eat are the meals right before enlightenment and the meal you eat right before you leave this life, right before you enter nirvana. And be sure to let Kunda know that he should feel nothing with happiness, nothing but happiness for serving me my last meal. And I was like, that's a Buddha till the end. I mean, your friend gave you a poisoned meal, and what do you say? Be sure to tell him that he should feel nothing but happiness. Kindness, kindness to the end. Oh, if I could be that kind, I'd be so happy. So I will say right off the top, I have not reached the Buddha's level of kindness yet, but that's what we strive for. Sorry about my cough. I'm going to read a little bit from that last, his last talk. Then the Exalted One, with his many Sangha members, went to the Sala Grove with the Mallas. At that time, twin Sala trees were blooming out of season, and the flowers dropped and covered the Tathagata. The Tathagata is another name for Buddha. In reverence to the successor of the Buddhas of old, the heavenly mandara flowers and sandalwood powder came down from the side and descended upon him. Heavenly music sounded and the songs were sung, all in reverence of the successor to the Buddhas of old. This show of reverence wasn't necessarily to the Buddha himself, but the Buddha and all the Buddhas before him. The idea of Buddha, the enlightened one. And with that, we also have to remember we are all Buddhas. So when we hear that the blossoms fell and sandalwoods came from the sky, it's also falling on us. and our privilege to keep the Sangha alive and keep the Dharma alive. Then the Venerable Ananda went outside and stood against the door weeping. "Oh," he said, "I am still not completely awake. I have not worked out my own salvation, and the master who has been so kind is passing away." This always makes me kind of cry, because Ananda has been with Buddha since day one. Ananda has been his personal assistant. Ananda memorized every single thing the Buddha said. So when you read a sutra, it says, "Thus I have heard." That is Ananda saying, this is what the Buddha said. And he was so distraught, he couldn't even go out the door. He just stood on the door and said, "I can't bear the thought of Buddha leaving." And we all have those days when people leave us and we just can't bear the thought. And the Buddha said, "Where is my friend Ananda?" And they said, "He leans against the door weeping and thinking, I am still not completely awake. I have not worked out my own salvation, and the master has been so kind as about to pass away." I love this imagery. And the Buddha said, "Go call Ananda. I'm asking for him." Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is a very moving story for me. And Ananda went and came and bowed and sat next to Buddha. His place he's been for 40 years. He sat next to Buddha. And the Buddha, I like this part of the Buddha, "Enough, Ananda. Do not be troubled. Do not weep." And cut it out. "Have I not told you many times the nature of things? Even though most dear and dear to us will pass away and we must leave them. Everything is born and everything must die." And he says a bunch more stuff too. "You have done well, Ananda. You've put great effort, and you too will soon be free. And you and all the other disciples, thoughts may arise, the words of the masters have ceased. We no longer have a teacher, but not so Ananda. The Dharma and the rules of the Sangha, which I have set forth, will be laid down before you will be teachers after I am gone." And then the Exalted One addressed the Sangha and said, "Friends, impermanent is inherent in all conditioned things. Work out your own salvation with diligence." That was the last words of the Buddha. I like that. I'm gone. It's up to you now. You guys have to carry on. And we go back to the 7 methods, the 7 things to keep the Sangha alive. Meet together in peace, talk about the Dharma, support each other, follow the precepts. Be mindful. We are doing here exactly what the Buddha said to do. We are now the teachers. One of the sutras we chant says, "We will soon be the ancestors." Some of us are going to be ancestors sooner than others. One of my ancestors, Katagiri Roshi, always said, "Be careful if you stick your nose into Zen, because it'll get you." So even if you come here once and listen to me blather on about this and you say, wow, that was depressing. All you talked about Buddha dying and leaving us alone. Something about hearing the Dharma, it'll stick with you. So even if you don't want to hear, it sticks with you. And that's good. We're all teachers of the Dharma. In our tradition, we're called to the zendo, we're called to the meditation hall, we're called to the temple with a wooden block. It's Japanese tradition. In a lot of old Japanese movie, you'll hear the wooden block, bonk, 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 bonk. It's kind of a dinner bell, kind of a call your kids home. It's a wooden block. In our temple, we use it to call it to a meditation. And in temples, all the wooden blocks say, we must know the great matter of birth and death. Do not waste time. It's our call to meditation. Do not waste time. We are the teachers. We are the future ancestors. We are all students. We're all Buddha. We're all Bodhisattvas. I have some other stuff that I'm not going to talk about just because it's going blah, blah, blah. And you know, we all hate to blah, blah, blah too long. In the Lotus Sutra, there's a chapter called Teachers of the Dharma. So this is early in Buddha's teaching. He's already telling us that we are going to be Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And there are 10,000 people listening to his Lotus Sutra. He said, you're all going to be Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And if you hear this statement with fear, and it's like, yeah, I kind of hear it with fear, you know you're on the path to becoming a Buddha and Bodhisattva. You are about to become a teacher. And Buddha said, we have no other option than to become a Bodhisattva. So we carry out this command. The last thing that Buddha told us, be a light unto yourself. Use the Dharma and the Sangha to keep us true. Keep us true to the Dharma. Keep us true to the way of the Bodhisattva. So on this day, we celebrate Buddha's life and death, his teachings, and remember the 4 Bodhisattva vows. I'm going to use my translation, but you have your own translation. Hopefully you can remember them. Beings are numberless. I vow to free them. What are we freeing beings from, including yourself? Suffering. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. We know we'll never end all of our delusions, but we vow to end all of our delusions. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Dharma gate, day-to-day life. Getting in your car, getting to the temple today. Dharma gate, you entered that. You're going to go down and have a potluck. That's a nice Dharma gate to enter. I'm sure there's lots of good food down there. Another Dharma gate. I'm going to enter this potluck. I'm entering that Dharma gate. And the last one, Buddha's way is excellent. I vow to realize it. We take these vows. I take this vow every day. Someday, I hope to be a teacher and live up to my vows. And that's what we all are. We're all teachers. And we respect all of our teachers and we respect all of our students in this day, because that's what Buddha said. So, all I have to say, go in peace and celebrate this wonderful day.
Thank you, Shuji. Before we settle in for meditation, are there any questions for Shuji? Okay, well, you've answered everything we ever needed to know, Shuji.
If anybody wants to get in touch with me at any time in the future, Yang-Su, you have my contact information. Feel free to hand it out if somebody would like it.
Okay, we can do that. All right, so prepare yourselves for meditation. We bow. One thought before announcements, the precepts, you might not all know exactly what that means if you're new, and I know there's several new people here. When you decide you want to formally follow the Buddhist path, one option is to take the precept class. It's offered once or twice a year here. And the precepts are, number one, respect and protect all life, respect and protect the property of others, respect and protect kind, loving, appropriate speech, respect and protect sexual boundaries, and respect and protect your sobriety. And there's many more, I forget how many. When you go to the Bodhisattva class, we're doing 10. But anyway, that's a formal way of saying I'm following the path. And you know what? You don't have to take the class. You can just follow those precepts. So, announcements? Yes. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I forgot about that. We started something new. I should have read it here. Anyway, joys and concerns. So if you have a joy, something that you're celebrating in your life, please share it with the Sangha. And concerns also, please share that. And we'll sit with each of those for a little bit in silence.
Yeah, and just raise your hand if you want to share. And also, we have the mic for the people online, but for people in here, just speak loud because the mic is not for here. So I wanted to share a concern. My mother-in-law, we had to take her to Florida to be in a locked dementia unit, and it's been really hard. It was a tough transition. I mean, they had to take her on a flight, and she's, it's really hard to take a confused person on the flight who's paranoid and doesn't even recognize their own daughters. So it's been a struggle, and my wife is there in Florida. So trying to help her get settled in, and that has not been a smooth transition either. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's sit for a minute with that concern for Kunga's mother-in-law. Okay, anybody have announcements?
Yangsu, I have one more concern online.
Oh, sure.
From Zoom. This is from Jessica. She says, I would like to share a concern. My favorite bookstore got shut down and condemned. And so I can understand that bookstores are great resources. So.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ellen. I'm giving the Dharma, I'm sorry, not Dharma, Dana announcement for today. This temple is run strictly on donations, contributions. No one gets paid to do anything here. So Dana is part of our practice of generosity. And if you'd like to contribute a donation, cash or check, we have Dana boxes at both ends of the temple. There's also a QR code, which I didn't even know what that was for a long, long time. That will take you directly to PayPal. You can also donate that way. If you're watching on YouTube today, right underneath the screen, you'll see a drop-down menu that will also take you to a donation. You can always go to our website, zengr.org. There's a donate button there. We used to be able to, which is soon not going to happen anymore, to shop on Amazon Smile, and a portion of everything that you buy on there was going to the temple at no extra cost to you, which was wonderful. But apparently, I understand that is not going to happen sometime this month. I think it's the 20th that's no longer going to be available. But also, as far as donations concerned, your time. Somebody picks up and sets down and brings food and donates toilet paper and all kinds of stuff here at the temple. So there are many ways for you to practice generosity. So I think I got it all.
Thanks, Ellen.
I have one more late breaking joy, if I can, that just came
Sure.
in. Desiree on Zoom says, I would like to share a joy. The sun is shining and I am getting a place of my own in March. So it's great, Desiree.
Tomorrow is cleaning day at the temple, so we'd ask that all cushions be put in the little closet stacked up, the black chairs and the benches in the little alcove, and then the tan chairs go downstairs. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Okay. Oh,
Just had an announcement. I wanted to. Ahung Soo asked me to announce this, that he is doing a interfaith dinner not next week, but the 15th of February at the East Church, and you can sign up at their website, or you can get with me for more details on that. I think it starts at 6:30 as the dinner, and then the talk. I went to the last month's with Fred Stella, and it was very wonderful. The food was good, and I learned about Hinduism. That was pretty great.
great. Thanks, Kaji-san. Okay, the board meeting is the third Sunday of each month from 11:30 to 1. It meets here at the temple, and you can also join via Google Meet, so all are invited to observe. We have a Buddhist-based recovery program going on here. We've changed the AA steps to reflect a more Buddhist approach. Mondays are at the temple or on Zoom. Wednesdays are at the Alano Club, and Fridays at the temple. If you want more information, you can talk to myself or Kaji-su or David over there. So, anything else? Have I forgotten? Okay, we'll stand and do the closing gathas, which, if I can get it open. Yeah, here we go. For all unskillful action ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. Okay, and now if this side would face this way and that side face the other, and let's give each other a bow. And there is a potluck downstairs. Don't worry if you didn't bring anything. There's plenty of food, so come and enjoy the fellowship, the sanghaship.